All my life, I've been lucky enough to live near the city of Pittsburgh, about 30 to 45 minutes away, depending on how the traffic can be. And naturally, in my 30 years of life on this planet, I've been a fan of the major hometown teams. The Pittsburgh Penguins, where I've been lucky enough to remember when they won the last 3 championships in the last 10 years. The Pittsburgh Pirates, despite my obvious anger towards the owners and managers for their lack of effort to actually go for a title. Every once in a while, it's always nice to be a fan of the team every once in a while, especially when they're actually that good. And of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that has won 6 Super Bowls and for the longest time was the only team to win 6 championships. And I've been lucky enough to see them win both of the last 2 titles under quarterback Ben Roethlisberger and the coaching of both Bill Cowher and then later Mike Tomlin. The last time the Steelers came close to winning a 7th title was back in 2010, when they actually made it to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers. But it just wasn't meant to be. Since that Super Bowl, I, like many Steeler faithful, have seen the opportunities to get back to the Super Bowl come and go. I've been there for the highlights. I've been there for the lowlights. The highlights. The lowlights. The highlights. The lowlights. The highlights. And the lowlights. 2018 in particular was a tough one to watch, as the Steelers were dealing with numerous off-field controversies regarding their biggest stars, from Le'Veon Bell not playing to Antonio Brown growing more and more furious with the organization and asking for a trade, and just this erratic roller coaster ride of a season that followed. Things started off bad with a 1-2-1 start after losing to Kansas City, tying the Browns. That was before then, and then winning against Tampa Bay, but then losing again to the Ravens at home. But then something happened after that. The team started to come around again. It started with a win against Atlanta, to the last-second win against the Bengals, all the way to a complete dismantling of the Carolina Panthers on Thursday Night Football. It seemed like everything was going in the right direction, like it had last year, which led to this thrilling comeback against the Jacksonville Jaguars with under 10 seconds left. At that point, it seemed like the Steelers were going to go to the Super Bowl. It was going to be their year. But then something happened. Those yearly highlights and lowlights were now becoming more and more of a weekly basis, starting with the highlights, and then the lowlights. The highlights, the lowlights. Highlights, lowlights. Highlights, and lowlights. It's as if the football gods themselves were punishing the Steelers for no reason whatsoever by not letting them keep winning. And now crisis mode has taken shape in the Seal City. With New England now with 6 Super Bowl championships, now it feels like more than ever that this has to be the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers to finally buck the trend of the distractions, the missed opportunities, and the disappointment. It feels like this year has to be the year for the team to finally get past that hump and pull out one last ride to another Lombardi trophy. As a lifelong Steelers fan, this situation gave me the idea for this documentary-style series that is going to be taking place over the course of the 2019 season. Throughout the next 17 weeks, and hopefully further, join me as I go through the season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that was once a usual playoff and Super Bowl contender that now sits back as an underdog as the attention now turns to teams such as the Browns and the Ravens in the AFC North. The Steelers have a tall task to handle against the media that tells them they're down and out and they won't be the same without AB or Bell. But it's important to remember something about the Steelers. They know how successful they can be because they've always been a consistent football team no matter the odds. Now more than ever, with their backs as close to the wall as they've been in their entire lives, the opportunity is there for the Pittsburgh Steelers to prove the naysayers wrong and show that they are very much on their way to still being Super Bowl contenders despite the odds, despite what the media reports, despite everything negative being spread about the team the past few years. This is an organization that can get the job done and has proven that front on many occasions. So join me on this season-long journey through the life of a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, hoping for another journey to the Super Bowl on the way to the Stairway to 7.